So this is awesome, but where do I go next? I can't tell you how many times I have said that. How many times have you said that when you just got done writing some riffs? I say it to myself all the time. But I have discovered that there's ways to get out of that feeling, because that's what it is, it's a feeling. And with this one, it's a little tough for me. Let me show you some things that I do to get out of being stuck. Okay, so if you were here last week, then you have heard this before, but if you have not, this is something that I made last week. Let me show you what it sounds like. And so, it's sick. However, where do I go next? The first thing that I would probably think about is, what is this riff? Well, to me, this is some sort of intro riff, right? And what's cool is we can utilize this throughout the song. And so in terms of thinking of where we go next, I'm thinking of some sort of just like heavy verse or something like that, right? That's the only thing that I can think of immediately after hearing this. Now, it's such a broad term. However, we can just start pulling stuff over. Like we have stuff here. We have this synth stuff. And so what we can try to do, again, so I already have myself a guideline, and I think that's probably the first one, is try to set some sort of guideline. I want it to feel like this after this riff. I want it to be heavy. I want it to be sort of a softer riff. Try to have that in your mind. And so you have some sort of guideline. And so let's just start to grab some of this stuff. So let's hear what it sounds like going into it. Yeah, so what I'm thinking about too is like what a singer would possibly do there, right? They would probably start singing here, and it could be some sort of like this like whisper sort of thing here. And then we can go into some sort of like drum groove. And so, okay, drum groove. Let's start with the drum groove, because that's immediately where my intuition was saying to go. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new MIDI clip, and then we can start to think about what this drum groove would do. Ba-da-dun-dun, ba-da-dun-dun. Okay. I'm down. I would say don't judge your drum groove right away, because you still have to get some other elements in there. And I think the key to this is like we definitely need more context, right? And so don't judge your drum idea right away. Try to come out with a rough drum idea, and then start to add it to your other elements. I don't want a crazy timed verse, because this is a verse, and so I want to give enough space and pocket for the singer. So I'm going to immediately grab the kick, put it on the bass. Again, we're trying to paint a quick picture so we can see, again, if this will work. Okay, so let's put this on, I believe we are in C sharp. Sweet. Okay. Now I'm starting to hear some notes. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so let's start to think about that. Yeah, this is cool here. Okay, cool. So I want this to be 2 sections. The cool thing about inside of Ableton is I made it 1 bar, but I just drug this over, and so it made it twice. However, I want to add some variation. I was actually watching a video. I wish I remember the name of the guy. I think his name is Genesis. This was actually last night. And he was talking about, making the same part twice, but then mutating the second part. And so this is the perfect example to do that here. And since we're just on the bass, we have a lot of freedom to kind of mess around with that. Now, it's going to change again when we add it to the guitar, which is good. That means that we're getting in that flow and our intuition and our brain is starting to move, which is good. That means we're out already. You know, we're out of that thing. Okay, let's unfold it so we can mess around with. Okay. Sick. Okay, so I'm going to leave this here like this, but I'm going to mutate the drums here, this second half. Okay, so we have our first section and our second section. Sweet. So you can tell that I'm almost putting a comma to get ready for that big paused section. And so let's put this on the guitars right away, see what happens. Sweet. Now, there's some work that needs to be done with like the ending here, you know, and messing around with that. And so maybe we can try to mess around with what this is doing here. What happens if I add... Yeah, that's an interesting note. I feel like that's actually really cool. I'm going to put that for now. I think it's good enough. If I really hate it, I'll change it later. Okay, let's start to add some of these little things here. We could probably use maybe this note. We might need to change. Just going to add another note here, and I'm not sure what note this is or whatever. I'm really using my ears. I'm not trying to overthink this here. What is this? That could possibly work here. I'm not sure how, but it's worth giving it a shot. Now we need to turn up the volume because I have it automating down. And so I'm just going to bring this automation up a little bit here. Let's add one more thing. I don't know. Let's see what that gives us, you know? Let's try to octave it. Shift up arrow. Okay, so let's think about our next part. We're already on to the next part. I don't want to worry about the details yet on that part. Okay, so I have an idea for a guitar part. I grabbed the two notes from that last riff. Okay, I like those two notes together for sure. They sound ugly. So I want it to go bad. So we just have to do that. You know, if you're not sure where it is, you have to just keep repeating it until you get that timing. It's okay to do that, I promise. I do that every day. Okay, maybe there, I think. Okay, so we were off, but that's okay. Ooh, we're close. Okay, let's start adding our palm mutes now so we can start to get a little bit more of a detailed picture, because this is kind of a technical part. You know, it has some palm mutes and stuff in it. And so we'll start to add that there. I already have my palm mute and my sustain. This is a tapping thing. And so I have to think about that as well. Add a sustain here. Then we're going to go back to sustain, palm mute, sustain. And I need to add a tapping key switch because that is what we use for hammer-ons and pull-offs in AXURE. Also, I have a discount code for $10 off AXURE MIDI guitar, which is what I use exclusively. It is literally Bedan 24 if you want to check it out. Okay, we have an idea for the next part. I'm actually going to make this one palm mute as well. I feel like it wanted to go palm mute. Remember, listen. It's telling you what it wants. You just got to listen. Okay, so I want this same thing, but I want this to be these notes. So G sharp. So basically the same thing, but we're going to that other idea. So I'm going to make a new one, and I want this to go an octave down. So let's hear what that sounds like right away. Context check. Context check. Da, 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 da. So it's kind of similar. We're just mutating it, right? Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Okay, so I'll put this here, I think. Ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da. All right, let's get another context check to figure out where it wants to go next. Good thing we did a context check, huh? Da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay. Sick. Okay, now I'm going to put this on the bass. Okay, so now that we put that on the bass, let's put it on our kick. Actually, I'm going to do... Okay, let's put this on here. We can also do something like this. I call this the Nate Bulla move, if I can nail it. Yeah, I feel like this wants to continue to like match this. Da-da. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna try to do a left hit here. Oof, okay. Yeah. Okay, so next I'm going to grab the bass for this one. Actually, I'm just going to copy pasta, bring it in here. Let's start to change some colors so we don't get mixed up here. Bam, bam. Add kick here. You can see that I kind of I needed some sort of kickstart. And it really, honestly, as you heard, it started with, do I want a big verse or do I want a small verse? Should it even be a verse? That's all I needed. And then I started to kind of get some ideas. We might be able to get away with just going straight quarter timing here. Oh, we can get crazy with some sort of fill idea here, possibly. I'm going to do double kicks like crazy here. Oh. Yep. Yes, please. All right, key things to think about. First thing, think about where it's going to go next, like in terms of the energy. Keep it very simple in terms of that. Do I want it to be intense? Do I want it to be soft? Okay, we have a little bit of a guideline. Can we grab other elements and bring them in to inspire this next part? Usually you can. Doesn't mean that you have to use that part there, but it'll help. Next thing, randomly start to place kicks to form some sort of rhythm idea. Now, the biggest thing when it comes to sort of a verse idea is, is it a tom part? Is it a faster snare part? Or is it a quarter time, right? Start to set some little bit of ground rules for yourself. Okay, well, I know I want the snare here. We'll put the snare there. It's going to you're going to start to get this snowball effect of like, oh yeah, okay, well, let's do this, right? If you are having trouble trying to come up with a riff, start with that pattern. And then really listen and start to bara your way through the riff. It's super helpful. Again, listen to the riff because it's going to tell you where it wants to go next. And try to use your intuition, because if there's an idea that you have that it's like, oh, that might be cool, try to make that. And don't give up, right? Don't lose hope in that, and try not to get discouraged if it's not exactly how you want. And so let's check out what we did. So it's not perfect, but that's not the idea of this. We're trying everything that we can to get out of this riff loop. We can worry about the fine details later, which is something that I will definitely be doing because I can already have ideas. I'm like, oh, I should change this, I should change that. But this is where we got, given those little guidelines that we set for ourselves. But all right, homie, that's all for this one. Make sure that you like and subscribe if you like this video. I try to come out with the video every Tuesday. I also stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, but Saturdays are community jams. So if you want to show us how you got out of your riff loop, if you want to show us your riffs, then link's going to be in the description, and come hang out, dude. I also do one-on-ones now, so if you are truly stuck and you need some assistance, I would love to help out. But that's all for this one, dude. We will see you next week. Have a good one.